Yeah. You are now tuned in to the AT Loungecast. Sit down and relax. Have a drink, have a smoke. You are in the house with BK Trooper and
Misty Bars, aka Mo.
let's do it. Yeah. It's your boy in the house, BK Trooper, and your girl
Mo. Hey, everybody.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? We back in the house. So, Mo, what we getting into tonight? What's the topic for tonight?
Well, first and foremost, as always, if you have any questions or inquiries, please feel free to contact us at aploungecast@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you either through an email or through discussing it through one of our podcasts. So, just want to...
What about Twitter?
Yeah, they could hit us up on Twitter. All the links and stuff are there. So, you just go to aproductions with a Z.com and you can always reach out to us that way also. And all our links and everything are there.
No doubt.
So, today's topic was inspired by an email that I received. And I'm not going to get into the details of the email, but I will just give you the gist of it. Basically, I got an email from an up-and-coming rapper, and his thing was basically that he said he's been shopping his music around, and he's been getting, heavy criticism, or, he's been getting a lot of criticism, and he said right now it's kind of like killing his vibe, and he's becoming uninspired with even trying to do music anymore at this point.
That's terrible.
And he wanted to know, what our take is on it and how to deal with criticism.
Wow. All right, so I'm going to let you go in on this first. And then, you know what I'm saying, like you do, breaking it down. And I'm going to come in and clean up, you know what I'm saying? Smack it out the park. So as far as criticism goes, I wouldn't say the pros or cons, but, how would you deal with it?
Well, first of all, look, my whole thing is this. There are two different types of criticism. And criticism can be negative and positive, and it could be negative and positive at the same time. But it could be either negative or positive, and then a combination of both. Now, when the criticism is purely negative, more than likely that's coming from a place of dislike, a place from hate, or what we term as modern day haterism. Or a hater. When it's effective, when it's giving you, the drawbacks to whatever they're saying in their criticism, but then they're giving you solutions to the flaws or the criticism that they're giving you, that's effective criticism.
I agree.
Because at that point, they're saying, hey, I might not like, for example, like say it's a beat. I don't like how you use the snare drums in this section, or you could have picked a better quality, melody or whatever they say. And then you say, well, overall, the beat structure and the music theory that you used was great, but you need to work on complementing the sounds. Like say someone does that. That's effective criticism. Because they're not saying they hated it or it's horrible. They're giving you suggestions. And also at the same time, you have to recognize that it is music. It is still art. So it is not going to please everyone. It's up for subjection. Yeah,
it's up for subjection.
It's a subjective matter, and people have their favorite genres. They have their favorite, rappers. They have their favorite style rappers. And thus this what you have fans. Like, you can sometimes have someone who's a fan of, let's say, Jill Scott, and then have someone who's a fan of, let's say, Beyonce. They like both Beyonce and they like both Jill, both Beyonce and both Beyonce and Jill Scott.
I got you.
La 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 la. But those are two different genres, two different personalities, two different music genres. So you can have a fan that likes both, but they want different experiences. They like them for different reasons. So what I'm basically getting at here is because of that, and then you have some people who are Beyonce fans only, and only like Beyonce style music, and then only like Jill Scott, neo soul kind of music. So they wouldn't be like, they might hear an R&B song that sounds Beyonce like and be like, I don't like it. Or a Beyonce fan might hear a Jill Scott kind of neo style, neo soul style song and say, I don't know, I'm not feeling that. Does it mean that the song is horrible? No, it just means that's not what they gravitate to. So again, just my little side notes and on having to differentiate between haterism and effective criticism. Because I'll give you an example in that. The Beyonce fan could say, that Jill Scott song is kind of hot, but it's not my cup of tea, so to speak. That's not my genre of music, but it's all right. You know what I mean? Oh, not really my thing, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? They're not really hating on Jill Scott. It's just not their thing. You know what I'm saying? But then someone who's trying to be a hater in the situation be like, oh, that song is horrible. I hate it. Only because it's not what they used to or what they like. So, we really have to differentiate between the effective criticism and the haterism. And I'm being honest with you. When you step into this arena, you have to come built with tough Teflon skin.
No doubt.
Seriously. Because a lot of people, especially because in their eyes, you haven't made it yet. I mean, how many times have we heard artists, and no offense to any well-known artists or artists that have made it at this point, but how many times have you heard well-known artists and artists who's already made a name for themselves come out with crappy music? And it's still on the radio and it's still being liked because they already have made a name for themselves. So they could literally say shit on a track and it's going to sell. When you are a newbie, you're going to be up for criticism like no other. So you're going to be getting both effective criticism and haterism. You're going to be getting both.
Some people, they just going to test you out. They just want to see if you have tough skin. They're going to say some stuff to see if they can get a reaction from you, just to mess you up. And I ain't going to lie, some of these criticisms, coming from some of these critiques, coming from some of these people can break
deep.
Your will.
Yep, it can cut deep.
So you have to. And how I feel about criticism is basically what you need to do. You know you need to pick it up another level, and in certain areas that where you can do better. So when you hear the criticism, most likely it's something you already know, something that you know about yourself already. So you just if you hear anything else, then it's probably haterism. You know what I'm saying? So it's a thin line between that and and you also got to realize who it's coming from. Is it a reputable person?
Is it somebody that's been doing it for years? Like
if you're getting a criticism from Jermaine Dupri or Puff Daddy or something like that, then you know what I'm saying? It might you're gonna look at it like, wow,
Yeah, because I mean, remember when the show Making the Band was on, and I remember a lot of people at that time would be saying, yo, Puff Daddy is really hard on these artists. And I'm like, you guys do not get it. You're not getting what he is doing. You see, there are many different people out there who can rap. There are many different people out there who can sing. What separates them from the next star, that next person who's going to change everything or who's going to make a name for themselves, is the fact that they can make you feel what they're singing, what they're rapping. They can connect with the audience. They can connect with the public. So what he was doing was breaking that outer overconfident shell that most artists have, where I can sing, well, I can rap, no one's better than me. That whole, and yes, you gotta have that confidence, but you gotta have that confidence balanced to the point that when you hear effective criticism, that you can make those changes and knock those music execs and those critics off their friggin' seat to the point where they have to be like, yo, I'm totally blown away by the adjustment. Like this artist, or this This rapper, this singer takes the critique and nails it. It's like, America's Next Top Model, that show. Where people watch the show and they see, the models come in and they critique them. That's effective criticism. You know what I mean? It's not to break your will. It's to help you in areas where you need to improve. So my next question would be, asking yourself, who is the criticism coming from? Is it a person of influence? Is it a person of credibility? Is it a person who has been doing this and who is going to help me in my career? Because I'm being honest with you. BK Trooper and I, we like going to music expos and stuff like that. And when we go to music expos, we have the music execs listen to some of our music. We have the music execs listen to some of the music of artists that we're working with. Mm-hmm. And they give very effective criticism. And like BK said, half the time they tell you something you already know. Like we had, when we went to one of these expos, there was a gentleman there who was a songwriter. And he had a song and the artist said he wanted something that sounded like Jenny Aiko. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Remember that, BK?
Yeah.
And he wrote the song. And by the way, he nailed it. He nailed, as far as on a songwriting point of view, he nailed it. The only problem was that, the music exec said was that
it wasn't pitched right.
The songwriter nailed it, but the singer did not give the best performance to present the songwriter's song well. What we mean by that is the singer could sing, no question, but the pitch wasn't corrected. There were certain areas that were too pitchy and certain areas and then there was gaps. There was no background vocals where you don't realize it when you're listening to a track. You hear all these background vocals. I want people to sit there. If you're a rapper, listen to T.I. When this dude gets on a track, son, I'm telling you, no lie. He is saying so much stuff in his ad-libs. It is ridiculous. And it's so low that you don't hear it. But if you're a trained musician, if you're a trained professional and you've been doing, you're going to hear him. I want people to, if you're an artist right now, listen to this podcast, listen to T.I. and listen to his ad-libs. The ad-libs enhance the song. Just listen to that. But anyway, back to the example we were using. If the singer who was singing the song that the songwriter, gave her, and presented it well, then it would reflect well on the songwriter. And not only on the songwriter, but on the singer as well. So
because what he was saying was that, back in the 80s and 90s, it was okay to have, the singer sound more natural, but now people are used to hearing vocals pitched correct and timed correct. Mm-hmm. So that was the only criticism of the song, along with some extra background vocals that they could have added, which was which is nothing more than cut and paste if you're into mixing. So as far as I'm concerned,
that was effective criticism.
That was effective criticism.
It was effective criticism. He wasn't saying, I don't like it. He was saying that to get it to the level where you're going to pitch it to somebody, where you're going to submit it to music execs or submit it as a demo or whatever, these are the changes that need to be done. Now, haterism, you're not going to really find that at music expos because everyone there is into music. And if you're doing music, you're already considered crazy or weirdo because it takes an imaginative mind to create music. So a lot of the times people think, people who do music are crazy. And to some level, we are crazy. Because our minds go other places that other people who don't do music, their minds don't go. So when you hear effective criticism like that, it shouldn't break your will. It shouldn't, break you to the point where you feel like you can't do music anymore. It should make you want to be better. Because now you're hearing this from a person who's been in the business since the 80s and the 70s.
I remember, early in my career, when I first started out, just like every other, producer, I thought I was the shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But, you run into an OG who's a manager or whatever the case may be. And, this guy I knew back, down in Philly, I forgot his name, but I had his card. And, he said that, my music is good. He can see where it's going, but I wasn't there yet. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of like, pissed me off, broke me a little something, But I knew it was what I needed to hear.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So when I went home that day, it was a long ride home, drive. And I was just thinking, how can I wanted to prove to him that I can do it better. You know what I'm saying? Then I said, I want to prove to myself that I can do it better. You know what I'm saying? So you just, don't quit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Especially if it's something that you love. You can't quit something that you love. That's I don't know, who can do that, but most of these sports guys, they retire 2 and 3 times. So, they really love the sport. So if you love the music, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be really hard to quit anyway.
Yeah. And I think what your email sounds like to me, and we would love to hear your music. I mean, we give effective criticism here. We're lovers of music. So if we do say you need to improve on something, that's what we genuinely feel. And you also have to remember that it is, subjective. Music is subjective. So you can always take any kind of criticism that you get with a grain of salt. But basically, it just sounds to me like you have some haterism somewhere around you. Because if it's not coming from someone in the industry, it's not coming from someone in the neighborhood or someone that does music, that deals with artists on a daily, that has a reputation or is notorious for dealing with this kind of industry, then it sounds like it could be family and friends. And let me just tell you right now, this is going to be a totally different, separate podcast. Mm-hmm. Friends and family are the worst when it comes to anything you're doing as far as business is concerned. You start your own business.
Or even better in yourself.
Exactly. Any entrepreneur out there who is successful will tell you the last people you want to market to or present your product or your information to is our friends and family. You know what I'm saying? Because it is to the point where they're not seeing your vision. If they saw your vision, they'd be in the business with you. They'd be making music with you. They'd be supporting you. So if this criticism is coming from somebody who has nothing to do with your rapping career, nothing to do with your helping you pay for studio time, nothing to do with supporting and advancing your career, helping you out, giving you words of encouragement. Mm-hmm. If it's coming from those people who openly do not support you, then it's haterism.
Yep.
And if that's the case, you push the haterism to the back burner, to the side, wherever you need to, so you can remain focused on your goal and on your career.
Yes. So, in conclusion,
if you're a person who's doing music, you're a producer, you're a musician, you're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're a journalist, you're a person who does stuff for yourself. You're a go-getter. You make things happen. You start your own business. You're making money for yourself. Basically. You have creative energy. You need to get thick skin. If you don't have it already, you need to get thick skin, because I'm telling you, you're going to hear a lot of no's and a lot of hell no's before you're going to hear a yes. Before you're going to hear, yeah, I see where you're coming from. Before, oh, yeah, I got you. You're not going to hear those. You're going to hear those from strangers, from people who can look at it from a totally unbiased mindset. Because people who know you, if you're doing something that they told you is not going to work, how do you expect to get anything positive out of someone who told you your idea is not going to work?
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. So in conclusion, when you decide to start a business or decide to make a career change or make any move, and especially in music, you're gonna hear a lot of no's before you hear a yes. And you're gonna hear a lot of criticism. You need to separate the haterism from the effective criticism. You want to take effective criticism into consideration because especially if it's coming from someone who can further your career and assist you, because they want to get you to be a polished product that they can put before music execs, that they can put before someone and get you in there.
Especially if you're trying to sell your own music, you want it to be, in line with what's out there. You want to be competing at a very high level.
And that's another topic altogether. But I agree with BK. You really need to be competing with the greats right now. You need to be competing with the greats right now. So if you're listening to the radio and let's say you're a rapper and you like Drake, let's say, or you like Fetty Wap or any of these people that's really hot right now, you need to be competing effectively with those people. If your bar is set at just the local rapper in your community, then you're not high enough. You're not high enough. So, and that is what's going to make you set yourself apart from the next indie artist. So,
thank you.
Wait, I'm not done. How you cutting me off? I'm not done yet.
We in the fourth quarter. What are you talking about? You act like we got forever.
We do got forever.
Our time is limited on this show.
All right. I see we do got a lot of things on our itinerary tonight. So basically, what you need to ask yourself is what kind of criticism is it? And then you go from there. And remember, everything you can take with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, it's your music, it's your career, it's your reflection of what you're trying to do. So with that being said, stay true to yourself and you'll be successful.
No doubt. So as far as the show is concerned, we would like for you to send in your music. You know what I'm saying? So we could either,
Yeah, what we're trying to do is, I really don't like saying trying to do because that means you're not doing it. What we're doing is we're going to, starting in 2016, we're going to do shows where we're just going to showcase indie artists. And so if you want your music to be heard, not only will it get radio play because iTunes is considered one of those vendors that, that is a broadcast system, but it will give you an opportunity to get your music heard and out there. And we do have quite a few people following us. So we would love to get your music out there so that people can hear it.
Just make sure you leave the metadata in websites and stuff where they can purchase it.
Exactly. Give us the info on where they can purchase your music, where they can hear more of your
Download
music,
it.
if you are performing, where they can see you perform, stuff like that. So we're basically helping you get your stuff out there. And the reason is we're lovers of music and we just want to, it's a community out here. We want to support other indie artists.
Yep. We're about a community here.
Exactly. So, and you know where to send that. I'm just going to give the emails as always, aploungecast@gmail.com. Or you can also email us with the contact us page at aproductions with a Z. That's APRODUCTIONZ.com. And just hit us up and we'll check it out and we'll definitely keep in touch with you.
So until next time.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Peace.